my impression of the portrayal of the occupation in general was that, as we were just discussing with the role plays, depending on what choices people made, they could have had more comfortable or less comfortable experiences of the occupation. But the exhibition seems to be avoiding singling any group or community or individuals out for criticism. We don't see any
group being blamed.
No, there's very little discussion of collaboration as such. In fact, none, as far as I can see.
I mean, it is implied, of course, in the choices exhibits, because you are working either for the Japanese occupational regime as a teacher, for example, or you're collaborating by informing
and
the Kempitai.
To be fair, of course, collaboration is a rather loaded word, and to sort of use it in a blanket fashion to condemn whole groups of people who had to make very difficult compromises is problematic in itself, but undoubtedly profiteering, informing, various forms of collaboration did take place, but that's not discussed in any kind of critical manner. Why not?
You know, either it's being deemed too controversial, or the visitors supposed to walk away with a different feeling from this particular exhibit.
Well, I think the visitors. Well, what feeling do you think the visitor is supposed to walk away with?
Well, we were talking actually about this at the conference. Whether it is worth always exploring the idea of exhibiting the most gruesome depictions, the most gruesome aspects of, for instance, war or occupation. And I think some of these exhibits try to circumnavigate one of the more brutal episodes and more controversial.
Well, of course, this exhibition here is very much related to the current exhibition at the National Museum of Singapore, which deals with the fall of Singapore specifically. But there, the sort of moral messages that the exhibition is trying to convey are very, very clear, and it's all to do with shared suffering. Somehow the community, with all its different ethnic groups, and coming together through this difficult experience of the war, and that becoming the foundation for the creation of a harmonious, multi-ethnic Singaporean nation. That's here too, in a slightly more, perhaps, sophisticated way.
I'd say so, and we will probably also have to bear in mind that since oral history accounts are being used to such a large extent here as well to give local Singaporeans a voice in this whole experience, it's not only oral history accounts from the archives from the 80s or so, but it's, as far as I can tell, also from people that are partly alive still today. So this is also another dimension that the curators, for instance, will have to take into account as well. How do you frame those who are still alive and their accounts in a museum such as this, that has, by the way, already been, rife with controversy?
Well, it's already had controversy surrounding it.
Just for the simple fact that its name strikes certain
chords. But to come back for a moment to the issue of collaboration, which, as I said, is a loaded and rather problematic term, but one interesting feature of this exhibition is the portrayal of the Indian National Army.
That's right.
And the Malaysian People's Anti-Japan Army, which are both quite prominently featured in the exhibition, and both quite positively featured, at least with respect to the war and to the war itself. But of course, these are armies fighting on completely opposite sides.
Exactly.
But the message that comes through is that that's okay, because ultimately both these armies were fighting against colonialism, and that is the dominant narrative here. And which is why, as we said to begin with, the story of the war and occupation is coupled with the story of the post-war period leading up to independence. That somehow all of this contributes to independence, the INA may have been fighting with the Japanese against the British. The AJA, during the war at least, may have been fighting with the British against the Japanese, but ultimately their aims converge in this joint struggle against colonialism.